was in his 30s, he was already worth over 350 million. His kolel avrechim receives salaries like doctors receive. Hashem keeps the whole Torah. Yeah. Really rough times. Rough times. Tammuz is a very, very tough time this week. So they tell us, the rabbis,
tell them that.
oh, give me my 10 million, let me
for
come
a
back.
reason. We need to play it smart. They need to think about that. The difference between depression and bitter depression. You're like,
No,
you don't
it's
wanna
never
get out of
depression.
bed.
It's not
No,
depression.
But I'm saying, why is it called the 3 weeks and not the 21 days?
Yeah.
Welcome to the pod. Elio next to me. Maybe it's the Mashiach. Please reveal you now.
I might be Elio.
Guys, we have an announcement.
I walked up to
Nice thumbnail. Nice clickbait.
last week.
Mashiach reveals himself.
Who is Mashiach this week? Is we found him.
Scammers.
We have a little l'chaim for the tzaddik.
Okay. What do you want? A bit of the monkeys or no?
Yeah, monkey, but we're not promoting their bottle.
Okay, so we're not saying what monkeys there.
Yeah, or just goes on it. Baruch Shalom Sani monkey.
Why didn't do that pop? I love when it does this pop.
Doom.
Yeah, we'll put it in the After Effects maybe.
Doom. Yaakov.
Yeah, you want to pour for me? If you don't like it when I pour for myself, you get offended. It's not politically correct.
On these paths of alcoholism.
No, as long as, like we said, we already talked about this.
Don't
If you don't know what we're talking about, just watch our podcast from beginning to the end, because you probably have nothing better to do.
Or nothing better to watch.
Oh.
Kitzer.
Yeah, you can listen to us while you do other stuff. Drive in the car, work out, eat pizza, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever your hobbies are.
Homework.
How do you get your work done?
We might get distracted and go into different realms of Chassidut. But anyways, welcome guys. We're sorry we didn't get an episode out last week. I've been going through some spiritual turmoil. But Baruch Hashem, we're back.
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the pod. Tonight is Kaf Zayin Tammuz.
Yes.
The 27th of Tammuz.
Special day is it today? Tell us.
It is the hilula, the yartzheit, the day of memorial of 10 years to the passing of a very big tzaddik, Baba Elaazar ben Meir ben Israel. It's the Baba Sali's grandson. His son Baba Meir, it's his son. And on this day, 10 years ago, Baba Elaazar was receiving his congregants, and one of them came in and stabbed him.
Wow.
And killed him. And this is very, very crazy. I remember when I got the news, I was in Israel. I barely knew him, but it like broke
one of
my
his
heart.
congregants? Like actually one of his...
A guy that had been coming to him for years for sheilot, for one-on-ones with him and asking him for advice and brachas and everything.
They didn't like his advice? What happened?
Apparently, the Baba Elaazar told him not to divorce his wife, and he couldn't take that, and he came back to see the Rav, and he took his life. But yeah, Baba Elaazar was
divorced his wife anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you don't want to listen to the rabbi, just don't listen to the rabbi.
We don't know God's wills and ways.
Anyway, so
Biduk.
Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. The candle of Hashem is the soul of a Jew. So light some oil for the tzaddik. Say a little l'chaim and Bezat Hashem. By being connected to his cousin here in Tzfat and being able to tap into the Abu Chatzir family, we'll see bracha. And we just saw his son.
Yeah, we did.
Rav Pinchas. So l'chaim.
Nice for Torah. Very big Talmid Chacham.
Huge.
Right, look at the gem on this thing.
Baruch Hashem for the tzaddik. He brought out the special cups. L'chaim, bink.
Bink. Baruch atah Adonai.
Amen. Yeah, Baba Elaazar was a huge. I just heard a story on the way here that this woman needed help medically. Baba Elaazar told her to go specifically to a certain hospital and to see a certain doctor in America, even though he never went to this person and never gave her like directions where to go and how to get to this doctor. She meets the doctor. And she calls Baba Elaazar and says, like, thank you, gets the message to him, thank you. I found a doctor, and he found a specialist that can help me, but it's $52,000 surgery.
Wow.
Wrote a check, sent the money.
No
question.
Baba?
Baba Elaazar,
Rebbe?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the Rebbe sent the money, no questions. Yeah, he was a big spreader of tzedakah. He had a lot of money, Baruch Hashem, and
Can I have his number? Well, it's not Bill's son.
you can go to Har HaZeitim. He's the next.
Well, didn't you tell me actually that his son is the richest rabbi?
He's one
in
of
the world?
one of the richest rabbis in the world, Rav Pinchas Abu Chatzira. Because Baba Elaazar, his father also died before his father, Baba Meir, which is the Baba Sali's son, died before the Baba Sali died. He died shortly. So he had a lot of he had a whole camp, a whole yeshivot and schools and everything. He was in Ashdod, so all that money got passed to Baba Elaazar. Baba Meir is Baba Elaazar. The tzaddik now is his father, the Baba Sali's son. Baba Elaazar is Baba Sali's grandson.
The one we're talking about now. Who is
the tzaddik for this candle for tonight? His father is Baba Meir.
Okay.
Which is the Baba Sali's son.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he was in Ashdod, and he had like all of his money and all his empire of the Torah that he established in the world came to Baba Elaazar. And then Baba Elaazar was killed, and it all came to Rav Pinchas. So Rav Pinchas Abu Chatzira is one of the richest rabbis in the world. 10 years ago, when he was in his 30s, he was already worth over 350 million. So, and that's Baruch Hashem grown. He pays his Torah learners, his Kolel Avrechim, receives salaries like doctors receive. Because people have this twisted, right? Like, how did a person sit learning Torah all day and he gets money for that? Well, if you think it's important and you want to have the schut and you want to have the merit of someone working for you, and what is their job? To rectify the world and to bring Torah into the world. So then you got to pay them fittingly, and if you can afford to.
It's amazing. It's what everyone should be paid for when they learn Torah. I mean,
yeah, and they're serious guys. It's not guys that are coming in, like us, like me. Like, I walk into Kola whenever I feel.
I don't even walk into the Kola.
So
one day, B'ezrat Hashem.
Yeah, man. I had the crazy 2 weeks now. I barely went to Kola. I was barely praying. Really rough times. Tammuz is a very, very tough time this week.
Yeah, I can feel we were sick and stuff. We can feel the dinim. It's an intense time. 17th of Tammuz to Tisha B'Av, 3 weeks. I heard a very nice word. Why is it called the 3 weeks and not the 21 days?
Yeah.
Do you know?
No, but that's a good question.
It's a good question, right? So there's a rabbi, I forgot his name. Rabbi Kaplan, I think. He was doing a word on this rabbi from Canada when we were there. I saw this video recently, not when I was there. But he was talking about why do you call 21 days, well, not 21 days, 3 weeks. And he gives an example, like, for example, the Beit HaMikdash and the Beit Knesset have, like, very similar laws. Like, you cannot, for example, break down a synagogue for anything, not a mitzvah even, nothing. You cannot break it down unless you do it. It's a demolition. Meaning, what's a demolition? You break it down to build a bigger synagogue, to do improvements, right? In that case, you're actually allowed to. So the same thing with the Beit HaMikdash. You can break the Beit HaMikdash. So you might think like Hashem keeps the laws like we keep the laws, right? Like we keep Shulchan Aruch. Hashem also keeps the Shulchan Aruch. He keeps the whole Torah. Like makes all his sense, So also Hashem cannot break down his shul, cannot break down his Beit HaMikdash. But again, like what did he break it down for? Like the first Beit HaMikdash broke down to build the second one, and the second one he broke down, demolished. I don't know how you say it, demolished to make an even bigger, even more beautiful, the third one.
Bezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem. So the word was like the focus on these is the 3 weeks. The focus is why do you call 3 weeks? To remember, to keep in mind that whatever happened, now we're in a time of like the demolition of the Beit HaMikdash. It's not like they came and like they broke it down and that's it. We're not seeing Chaz v'Shalom a Beit HaMikdash again. No. We shouldn't be in a state of like sadness and mourning or like, oh, our Beit HaMikdash is broken and stuff. And like that's it, and like be all depressed. No, we should keep in mind these 3 weeks that it was only demolished for the purpose of having an even bigger and more beautiful Beit HaMikdash B'ezrat Hashem very soon.
Man, it's like Rabbi Akiva, like the famous Rabbi Akiva story that they came, the Chachamim were standing on Har Zitim, and they're looking at the Beit HaMikdash, and they see foxes running through the Beit HaMikdash, and everyone starts crying, and Rabbi Akiva starts laughing. Like, how are you laughing?
Yeah.
And he says, that there's a prophecy that says foxes are going to run through the Beit HaMikdash, and if that prophecy came true, and it's in the Torah, then obviously the good ones are also going to come true. So I'm laughing already. I'm not sad now. I already see that if the prophecy of destruction, which is the negative one, came true, then even more so the one of the positivity of nechama, of consolement will come through.
Positive thinking. That's what a chassid is all about. Positive thinking.
And this is the 3 weeks. The 3 weeks is, there's different minhagim, there's different customs that us as Jews that we have, taking on different practices of mourning. We have Tikkun Chatzot, which is made here in Tzfat by the Arizal, to say every night Tikkun Rachel, Tikkun Leah, where you cry on the destruction of the temple, and then you receive a little bit of consolement. It says everybody who cries about Jerusalem, the destruction of Jerusalem, will merit to see its building and its happiness.
So we don't do that, Chabadnikim.
Tikkun Chatzot?
We don't do Tikkun Chatzot. It says in the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe talks about it. Back in the day, they used to do it, and some people still do it, like I know Breslov does it.
Yeah, a lot.
Some Sephardim may do it. Some do it, but it's like overall most people don't. And Tanya explains about it already then. Like Tanya, Alter Rebbe talking about like a few hundred years ago already. And back in time, like people would do it. Even the sages would like fast also. A lot of fasting and a lot of Tikkun Chatzot. But this time it's a bit a different generation. I might mix up two things, but the point is like that the sages, when they, for example, when they do tshuva, they fasted also. And what is the fasting is actually not part of the actual tshuva. Tshuva is like regretting and like taking forward what you're gonna like do better. And but the fasting would fix things. It would like, for example, like you it's like giving a present to Hashem, like to be in good terms again with Hashem. Like you break something, like you're sorry about it, but still there are the pieces there. So what do? You buy a new one, right? You buy a new plate for the guy that you broke the new plate for. That's kind of what it's like, right? So the fasting kind of does it. It kind of like repairs kind of like Hashem already forgave you, but there's, like you want to bring a present. Yeah, there's a mess. You clean it up, exactly. But now, because the generation's like kind of weak and all this stuff, so also we're kind of done with the mourning. We've mourned for like 2,000 years already. This is the last generation. We're done with mourning. The Rebbe was very all about like action also. Like this is now time for action, not sitting and crying about it and being sad about it. Now in this time, what do we do instead of fasting? We give tzedakah. It says like, because when you fast, it makes you weak. Because in this generation, we're not so strong as back then. And when you fast, you could like not concentrate as much as on the Torah. You like become tired. You go to sleep. So your tefillah is not. You're
fasting,
strong.
But then you become a zombie. You're not actually active. They used to fast and learn Torah and
still
pray
be on fire.
And still be on fire.
If you could do that, great, right? I mean, that's awesome if you can do both. But most people can't. But so now we do give tzedakah, and there's certain amounts you can give if you did tshuva. If you need to do tshuva on something, there's like calculations for it.
Which we all should be doing tshuva in these days, especially now. Tammuz, and then Av comes. Right?
Give extra amounts of tzedakah if you can. Whenever someone asks you, don't. It's halacha. You cannot turn away a person when they've asked you tzedakah. You have to give, or you have to at least give a bracha if you don't have anything to give.
Smile.
It's a big thing. Anyway, you should always smile.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. It's very, very like the whole this idea of Bein haMetzarim, which is what it's called in Hebrew, like between the straits, between the narrows, between the hard parts, which is the breaking of the walls on the 17th of Tammuz and the ultimate setting on fire of the Beit HaMikdash on the 9th of Av. They actually broke into the Beit HaMikdash before that already, but they set it on fire on the 9th. So in between these two hardships, which historically is a lot of disgusting and hard, terrible things have happened to the Jews specifically between these three weeks. But it comes from a pasuk that it's in Eicha, in Lamentations.
Very good.
Lamentations, Eicha. That it says, Kol rodfea yisigua ben haMetzarim. All of her chasers, all of her predators will will get her, will capture her between the strings. So classically, the rabbis explain, what does this mean? That like any of our enemies, they want to get us. These are the 3 weeks. So they tell us, the rabbis.
Tell them that.
Hopefully,
well, they're not watching our podcast anyway.
Some, but not enemies, hopefully. And if they are, like the Nazi that was, and send us a message, V'zat Hashem, they'll get in
flip them.
Exactly. Exactly. We have that power. Nafochu. V'nafochu.
Wow. Did you tell them already about this, L'chaim? About the neo-Nazi that sent you
We have a neo-Nazi sent us a message because of a Purim video that we put out. It's called the Purim Conspiracy. You can check it out. It's in our playlist of the clips. And he said that his whole life he's been with prejudice against Jews, and that video made him change his mind, which is crazy. We have
it's pretty awesome.
We have priests listening to us. We have all different types of walks of the earth listening to us. That person that listened to our last episode with 2 episodes ago, with Chassids for chillers, with Rabbi Alter, said I'm making Aliyah. I want to come to Tzfat because of the show partially. Wow. But I want to know can I get a kosher phone with WhatsApp? Because I watched the episode with Rabbi Alter, and I want to have a kosher phone when I come to Israel, but I need WhatsApp to talk to my family because I'm making Aliyah.
So and YouTube to watch us. What is this?
No, that you can watch us. By the way, if you know anybody that doesn't go on YouTube, if you know anybody that doesn't go on YouTube, you can go to 613 Tube. Tariag Tube, 613 Tube, it's like 613 mitzvot, and it's a filtered YouTube site, and we show up there. So if you know anybody that doesn't,
that's nice.
Anyways,
I'm glad that we qualify to
Baruch
be on
Hashem.
there, with all the jokes and all the nonsense.
It's all good, Baruch Hashem. So basically these weeks are the times that we shouldn't be going. If we have a court case with a non-Jew, we should try to push it off until after Tisha B'Av. A lot of different things. Yeah, exactly. It's the Rasha Sham Misacheket Lo, that the time that it's playing for them.
But fights with Goyim.
Now it's not now. It's already a Torah that's been for a while, but it's an amazing chidush. I don't know if it comes from Chassidut or not, but it says Rav Yitzchak's been saying it a lot, and I saw Rav Biderman say, "Kol rodfei ya yasigu ben haMetzarim." Anybody that's not chasing after her, meaning Am Yisrael, whoever is chasing after Ka, after Yud He, after Hashem, if you want to really get Hashem, you find him now between these 3 weeks. Because what is the whole inyan of crying? I get what the Baal HaTanya is saying about the whole inyan of us being weaker.
There's a time, by the way. There's a time.
This is for sure one of those times that the Chazal said already that this is, right? I'm not saying not with the Baal HaTanya, but what's the inyan of crying on the temple? The inyan of crying on the temple is that you're crying for the Shekhinah that is now separated from its place and separated from Hashem. Shekhinah is the feminine aspect of Hashem. When we cry, think about a family dynamic. If a little kid is crying because his mom is missing, his mom's not home, his mom can't come home, the father can't come home, the mother and the father can't be together. They want to be together, but there's just such a situation that they can't be together, and the kid cries. But because of that kid's cries, the parents make extra effort to come back together, and then they're reunified and they stay together. So that's the whole inyan that we're trying to get, like, Hashem, we want you back home. We want your house to be up. We want the Shekhinah and you to be together. We want the two to be together, the masculine and the feminine aspect. And we're crying so much that we wonder. It's not like, oh, I'm crying, I'm depressed. It's like, I'm longing for this yichud. I'm longing for this unification together. So anyone who's chasing after Hashem, when's the time that you can get Hashem? Now, in these 3 weeks. And it's amazing that it leads into then Av, and then Elul, that the Melech, Basadeh, the king comes into the field. He's already coming back to a Bechina that's so much closer in Tisha. It's amazing. It's
for sure, also Chabad, we set a time of self-reflection and on everything. Also, you need to have in mind that we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, which always is there, obviously. There's not, the Simcha is not complete. And if your minhag is to cry, then cry.
No, there's different machanot. That's why I'm saying it's all good what the Baal HaTanya is saying. I'm just saying the inyan.
Yeah. Also, there was a beautiful sikha by the Rebbe I learned a while ago, and it's about when Benjamin and Yosef meet.
Yeah.
And they cry on each other's shoulder. They cry for each other. What does it mean? They cry for each other. So Yosef cries for Benjamin because he sees in the future a prophecy that the Shiloh in his area. Is that what
Jerusalem? In Yerushalayim.
Yeah, in Yerushalayim, right. Is being destroyed. So he cries for him. And then Benjamin cries for Yosef because he sees the same thing happening in his area when the thing was still moving, right?
Yeah.
So they cry for each other. Now Yaakov, when he met Yosef. Yosef cried on Yaakov's shoulder, but Yaakov, what did he do?
Shema Yisrael.
He said the Shema Yisrael. So why didn't he cry? So for Yosef and Benjamin, they cried because it wasn't for themselves, it was for someone else. Yaakov, they're both his sons. Like both the Beit HaMikdashim are in his territory, in his place, in Yaakov's place. Israel, he's all of it, right? So he doesn't cry. What does it mean? What is he doing, Shema Yisrael? He was doing a tikkun. He was trying to fix it. So the basic point of the Sikha was really beautiful. Like when your friend is going through a hard time, rough time, sometimes there's nothing you can do. It's like they have to fix it, right? They have to fix it with their wife. They have to fix it. They have to go find it. You cannot really fix it for them. So all you can do is really be there for them, be empathic, be empathetic, and cry with them. But when it happens to you, don't sit there and cry. Stand up and do something, like take some action. And I really like the Rebbe stanza, like this like perspective on it, because there's many different perspectives. Shivim panim la Torah. Sure. But I really connect to this, like, stand up and do something. This is like the time. He said, I don't know when it was. I think it was like a year or 2 years. The last year, I think he said it. Like, it's like, now it's up to you guys. Like, I've done my part, and now it's up to you. Like, the Rebbe, I might be the Rebbe, but you can't rely on me now. You have to do it yourself. Like, if Mashiach, I think maybe we were talking about it with Shama even, like if it was up to the tzaddikim,
it would have been
over. It would have been so easy, right? So we need to really put in work. Like it's not gonna come just by doing nothing, and we should do the avoda. We should cry. We should like do mitzvahs. We should learn Torah.
After, though,
want it.
We need that desire, really wanting. We need to know what it is to have a Beit HaMikdash. We need to know what it is to have that shefa coming down to the world.
And today's Tanya talks actually about like how do you like really do tshuva ila'ah, high level tshuva. Is by what was it again? Basically, it was talking that to meditate upon the greatness of Hashem. By meditating on the greatness of Hashem, this is how you really like start to get into like that wanting first of all.
Yeah.
Because we're so stuck in this clip. I'm getting it. I don't really remember the full exact Tanya, but basically, like, we're so stuck in this world. We're, like, in the low level.
The Matrix.
Yeah, man. I feel sometimes like I'm in the Matrix. It's like this and that happening and so distracting. All you want to really do is pray all day, but, like, you can't. You can't pray today. You can't just sit down and learn Torah because there's so many distractions. The computer, the phone, the family. This thing happened, that thing happened. Then a building collapsed, like so many Jews were stuck there. It was crazy what happened in Florida. Like there's always so many things going on. Like, where is God? But God is here.
In the Daf HaYomi of that, the Daf HaYomi of the week that the Surfside building fell, in the Daf HaYomi during that week, it talked about what happens if a building falls and there's Jews inside on Shabbat.
What did it say?
That you have to break Shabbat in order to go. No matter whether you think they're alive or not, you have to break Shabbat in order to try to get them out.
Oh yeah,
and it was during the Daf HaYomi, during the week that a building falls down with a majority of Jewish people inside of it.
Scary.
Everything.
Scary.
The Torah is alive. The Torah is alive. It's alive.
Time.
It's not just a book with some. Someone asked me in the store today. We were talking and everything. She says, "You can't just leave like your head alone from Torah for 1 second just to do a business deal." I was like, No. What do you mean? I'm doing the business deal fine. You're buying this. You're leaving with this bottle. You're happy. And you got Torah. What's your problem? So she says, yeah, but like your head's always in it all day long. She's like, but you have to work. You have to focus on Parnassah. I said, why? What's my Parnassah for? Why do I need this money? Torah. I need Torah. I need connection to Hashem.
You need Parnassah for Torah.
Exactly.
And you need Torah for Parnassah.
Yeah, so like I'm doing my job and you're getting Torah. And everybody's happy. So, like, I don't have to stop it. It's not that, like, there's Torah and then there's work. No, there's life. And life is Gashmiut and Ruchaniut together, which is all Ruchaniut. It's all Hashem. Enod milvado.
That's the mistakes the Meraglim made, right? Like, they say, okay, they didn't want to go in. But part of them, like, why didn't they want to go in? They say that the fruits were big. Okay, big deal, right? Who cares about big fruits? But they really didn't want to go in because they knew if they would go in, they would have to start dealing with Gashmiut, with physicality. And they didn't get it because they were so long stuck in a dry desert that they were completely like used to desert life.
Miracles.
Like, only miracles. The food comes to them from the sky. They have like this great spiritual life, and now they're gonna have to work the land. How are they gonna figure out spirituality? They were afraid they were gonna lose spirituality. and become totally lost in the physicality. But the whole point of this world is to mix both.
Yeah, it's Rav Shlomo Katz has an amazing shir about this. Bamidbar. It's a Bamidbar shir, Parashat Shavua, for Shlomo Katz's YouTube channel from like 2 or 3 years ago. Amazing. It talks like which was the generation of darkness and which was the generation of light. The one that left Mitzrayim or the one that went into Israel. Which one was the one of light and which one was the one of darkness? Right. On the one hand, the one of the generation that left Mitzrayim had Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron, Miriam, the well, clouds, and food and man and everything that they need. The insane Torah, Matan Torah. They can see everything. They're not even walking. Their clothes are growing with them. Everything. Is that light or is that darkness?
Literally heaven on earth.
And then the other generation, they have to come into a brand new land, conquer it, kill 7 different nations, get them out of the land, establish a country, build up farms, separate land, everything.
But they get to eat Israeli shawarma.
And Golani whiskey. So yeah, it's a crazy Hasidic class that Rav Shlomo gives, and it's in the end there's dayot to here, there's dayot to there, but it's I highly recommend that shir. It's in the end of the day, the real light we know is it's from the bar. 100%.
Yeah,
it's down there in the bottom.
Yeah.
It's in the bottom, in the hardship, in the what does Rabbi Shimon say? The 3 good gifts that Hashem gave to Am Yisrael, and all of them are required by hardship. Torah, Eretz Yisrael, and Olam Haba. They're all very hard to get. You go through a lot of hardship to get them, but they're the best things in the world.
It's really worth it.
Torah, the land of Israel.
Listen, living in Israel is not easy.
Not at all.
But it's totally. I wouldn't want to live anywhere in the world for no money in the world. I mean, maybe, but maybe 10 million. Who knows? 100 million.
No, it's not worth it.
No, just to travel and not come back.
I'll live there for a day in a hotel.
Exactly.
I'm living in a hotel. Give me my 10 million. Let me come back.
For a reason. We need to play it smart. They need to think about that.
Yeah, I'm more than happy in Eretz. So I really could not imagine living anywhere else. Especially now as well. Currently within Israel, I'm very happy in Tzfat as well. Like, I'm completely a different person, and it's not that I've changed so much as that like I'm bringing out more than what I had inside of me to the outside, and like taking a lot of more different Torahs and bringing them inside. I'm very happy here, man. Where do I have to look for in America? That's it.
So you need Tzfat to calm down. You're like so on fire. You need
you
need the wind and the earth and the quiet.
Go back to your shul and get on fire. So Baruch Hashem, we're very blessed, man. We're blessed, but in the end of the day, I have a very, very strong connection to Yerushalayim, and this time is always a very hard time for me.
Yeah,
Tisha B'Av is like
this is the time we lost Yerushalayim.
100%. The worst things.
The worst things happened also on Av. All the things, right? Like not just
these 3 weeks. Yeah, the worse it gets, the closer to Tisha B'Av, which is like the black day, and to the point where you don't even learn Torah on Tisha B'Av.
Yeah,
it's Isur. There's the rabbis prohibited learning Torah
besides Eicha.
Yeah, Eicha and things that have to do with destruction.
Yeah.
Why? Because it says Pikudei Hashem Yisharim Mesamchei Lev. The commandments of Hashem are
make you happy.
Make you happy. Yeah, they make the people with a straight heart happy. So look to how much the rabbis look into it. That Torah, even though the whole entire world depends on Torah, on that day, you lose the Beit HaMikdash. Hashem's house is destroyed. Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchot on 17th of Tammuz. That these 3 weeks is crazy times.
Also the Meraglim, the agents that went into Israel, also Tisha B'Av.
Yeah.
It's set to be a dark day, so don't go out. I mean, go out to shul, but don't go out to party.
Shul,
believe me, it's not a good time.
It's a shul. That's it. It's literally like. Last year I was at Rav Anava, and it was like I did an IGTV. I just put like a live Instagram, and I started reading all the keynote, all like the different songs and different poems talking about what happened, Lamentations, and I was crying my eyes out. Like it's Yerushalayim is the heart for me. It's really my heart. It's like it's hard to read.
It's also important not to get too depressed.
No, and Tisha B'Av is a day like that. And then from Mincha, you start with Nachamu. You start with all the consolement. You get the Aliyah. You start to come
Be
back.
bitter, like it explains also in time. Like there's a difference between depression and bitter. Depression, you like
No,
you don't
it's
wanna get
never
out of that.
depression. It's
No,
not
but
depression.
I'm saying to the people also, not necessarily only to you.
Oh, yeah. It's
Like-
not. It's a crying of longing.
Yeah. It's a
how?
bitterness. It's a bitter like, oh, I don't have the bit of mikdash. It's so sour in the mouth. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I wish. And then you also, Bichlad, you read the stories like that were written, weeks after all this happened of how Jewish mothers having to eat their babies, and you have to read these things, and it's like, what
They'd even
happened
get ketchup. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God forbid. But like what was going on? Like
It's terrible. It's terrible. I always have to make jokes.
there's time for everything, like Avidan said. But yeah, Baruch Hashem. Then we have Chassidut that comes and tells us, no, Tammuz is the month of Geula. And Av, the Mashiach, was born on Tisha B'Av, which, well, that's Chazal, but, it's the whole idea. From the destruction, there already starts the tikvah, the build-up afterwards, right? So, yeah, the temple was destroyed on Tisha B'Av, but that only opened the door for Mashiach to be born on that day, because if you already hit the bottom now, you only can go back up.
Exactly.
So, we're coming back up.
And we're very close, guys. We're very, very close. Mashiach is right on the doorstep. He's right here. Just kidding.
No, I'm Eliyahu.
he's bringing him. Come
Today
on.
I walked to...
Bring him already.
I walked to Rav Torjman. I thought we had a class. In the end, it was canceled. But I walked to his door, and as I get to his door, he's like, Eliyahu Anavi. He didn't see me. And then he turns around, he's like, oh! It's funny connections with that name. Taking advantage of it.
Listen, the name you have, it means a lot. I mean, it says a lot about the person. It's not stam. It's not a coincidence. It's you're connected to that person.
May we bring good news. That's it.
Yeah, just bring good
show.
news.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
So tzaddikim.
If you like this, share it with a friend. If they want to learn something about Tisha B'Av. Subscribe, ring the bell to get notifications. More episodes are coming.
And a very important thing. It says we have 2 times in the year that we say, right, on Misha Nichnas Adar, Marbim Besimcha. From the time Adar starts, we increase our happiness. And from the time that Av starts, we lower our happiness. Misha Nichnas Av, Mima'atim Besimcha. But we have to understand that we have to lower our simcha. It doesn't mean we're not besimcha. It doesn't mean we're not happy. We just have to tone it down. We don't dance. Right. We don't listen to music so much. We don't do but we're always going to be happy. Exactly.
Life is always good. God has a plan.
Just hang on.
And your plan should be to subscribe.
Welcome to the pod.